Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to show you who my guest is and tell you what the topic is. And today, again, to reiterate, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And we are broadcasting on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, which is 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And just to let you guys know, on Fridays, we do air live, and we also have pre-recorded shows. And this is one of those times where this is a pre-recorded event, but it still streams out to the same platform, of course. And we welcome you to join us on any platform that you prefer, whether it be YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, LinkedIn even. So definitely check us out. We're live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Fridays, we do offer either a live or pre-recorded show at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today, we're going to dive into a truly fascinating topic that touches the deep and often unspoken bond that we share with our pets. And also, we're going to be talking about shamanic energy practices. We're all familiar with the idea of our furry, feathered, or scaled friends being a part of our family, and they are. But we've never really considered their spiritual or energetic lives, have we? Today, we're joined by Jeanne Bassett. She is a practitioner of shamanic energy, and she is going to guide us through this incredible journey. We're going to explore what shamanic energy work is and how it applies to our pets, and what we can do to better understand and connect with that spiritual energy of our animals in our lives. So get ready, and you're going to be looking at your beloved companions in a whole new way after this conversation. So let me bring Julie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, so excited to have you here today. So rather than read your bio, I'll step aside for a moment and let you talk about yourself and tell folks who you are and how you arrived at the place that you are today.
Oh, gosh. Well, it started off when I was really young because I always had a deep connection with our family dog, which was a German Shepherd. It was more like a sister to me than a pet. And I could always feel what she was feeling. So I knew there was something there, but then parents get involved and they say, oh, it's just your imagination or whatever. And so I basically shut it off. Well, fast forward, I've been working at corporate for a number of years and hadn't really thought much about it. But then I had back surgery. And 2 weeks after that, I had a pulmonary embolism where I nearly died. And so I decided that I didn't like corporate life. It was too stressful, too demanding, unrealistic deadlines. And so I started taking classes during my short-term disability. And so one of those was animal communication. And I just fell in love with it. And one of the things why I like this teacher so much, her name was Lynn McKenzie, is because she also taught the healing aspects of it. And I thought, what better way to contribute to society is to be able to communicate with people's pets and also heal them. Because I'm a pet behavioral specialist, I use energy healing techniques to help resolve behavioral issues in our animal companions as well as physical issues. And then a little while later, I got called to start looking into shamanism and shamanic energy work. I watched this video, one of these little free webinars that Alberto Villota was doing about his energy program. And I had full body chills for that entire hour. So I knew that was the path for me. And so I took his course, learned so much, but it was more for humans. But I started applying it to animals, because animals are very similar to humans. Humans have 7 major chakras. Animals actually have 9. So I was able to adapt the techniques I learned in my shamanic training to also work on animals. So now I'm able to work on both humans and animals, and I just love what I do.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. I love the journey that you took to arrive at the place that you're at today. And I would have to say that I agree about corporate America. I've been down that road. It's
Yeah,
not such a pleasant road to travel.
no. And since then, I've been taking all different shamanic courses from different instructors and just trying to hone my abilities. And now I'm
Mhm.
looking into medical intuition, so I can better help both humans and animals.
Nice, nice. So, for folks that don't know anything about shamanic practices, can you just give us an overview of what they are and kind of just fill folks in?
Sure. Shamanism was developed by indigenous peoples. It's very old medicine. Before there were ever doctors and things like that, there was a shaman that was elected by the society to be the healer. And so they used plants, they used nature, they used energy healing practices to help heal the body, mind, and spirit. And I am very connected with nature. I'm very connected with animals. And this just seemed like a good fit for me. I also feel like I've been a shaman in past lives. And so all this knowledge is coming back to me.
That's wonderful. So, how do you implement this energy force? Is it something that you do like under a guided meditation? Do you uh use your intuition? Is it a little bit of both? Do you have spirit guides? Like how do you make it work?
Um, all of the above. I often do a shamanic journey to tap into the energy field. I open up for directions, which create sacred space. Um, And then it just depends on what is needed, because I have a whole team of spirit guides, including some shaman guides. Uh, my main guide is a whitetail, who I named my business after, my shamanic business anyway. And I'm also, through ceremony and ritual, I'm tied to the lineage of the shamans that I've studied with, the shamans of South America, Chile, Peru, and the Andes Mountains. So I can call on them at any time to help me. And, I'm just a channel. I just find out what is needed, because I will talk to the person about their animal or themselves. And everything is strictly confidential. And
Mhm.
then I will leave it up to spirit to heal what most needs healing. And they guide me through doing um, illuminations where I pull in divine white light. They lead me through cord cutting, which is generally tied to a person that's preventing them from moving forward, or is sucking their energy out. Removing feeding tubes, which is generally to like an organization, like a business that, a job that's just sucking your energy. Um, and then there's also energetic residue that can be, it's generally from past lives or sometimes even this life, but most of the time it's past lives where
Yeah.
there's like energetic residue there and it causes pain in the body. It causes you to be blocked. Not It prevents you from moving forward. Sometimes these come in the form of limiting beliefs. And, with these different techniques that I've learned through my shamanic training, and, there are other energy healers that I've studied, like Donna Eden. And so sometimes I'll pull out one of her techniques as I'm guided by spirit. Because I'm just a channel.
Yeah.
I'm, some shamans call it the hollow bone. I am the facilitator of somebody else's healing from divine forces through me into the person.
Yeah.
Or
Does the work, like for humans, is it the same as it is for pets, or is there like the type of energy work, or is there a difference?
um, pretty much the same. There are some subtle differences, like the energy healing I learned with Lynn McKenzie, and I've taken some other animal healing classes too, where um, communication and healing classes where they have different techniques. And so I just go as I'm guided by my intuition and by my guides and their guides to do what's the best at that specific moment. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Um, there's a concept called, I believe, soul retrieval.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
is
do
that
soul retrievals too.
okay? What maybe you can kind of go over that. Is it applied to animals the same way again that it? Well, let's define that first. What is soul retrieval?
Whenever we're traumatized, a piece of our soul breaks off and goes to the underworld. And
Mhm.
the underworld is not hell. Um, the shamans, at least the ones I've studied, believe in a lower world, a middle world, which we're on now, and an upper world. And so when a piece of our soul breaks off, it goes down to the underworld and goes into hiding because we can't, it doesn't feel like we can keep it safe anymore. And so it goes and hides. And so I will do a shamanic journey on the person's behalf or the animal's behalf um, to receive that soul piece. And so I will go down to the underworld and I will go into 4 chambers. The first one is the chamber of wounds, which is I see where the original wound was. Next one is the chamber of contracts, because whenever we are traumatized, we sign this ridiculous contract. Like one of mine was, I'm afraid. So yeah, of course, I'm always afraid. Well, that contract is no longer valid, and
Mm.
replaced it with something I can live with. I would help you do the same. The next one is the chamber of grace, which is where I would talk to your soul piece and see if they're ready to come back or not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, and sometimes they are with conditions. The next place I go is the chamber of treasures, where you are given a gift. I bring back a gift on your behalf that's supposed to help you on your journey. And somewhere along the way, we meet a power animal that's also going to help you on your journey. And so I bring all of those back with me. And, you know, we replace that soul piece. And then there's like another part of the exercise where you get to ask questions of the soul piece, the treasure, and the power animal. And sometimes these discussions are very profound and amazing stuff comes through. Um,
Does this happen while both parties are like meditating, or like does the other person need to be in a meditative state, or are you
I
just
have
picking? Go ahead.
I have the people lay down and relax throughout this process. After we discuss what they're trying to heal, I have them lay down, and then everything else they're done while they are relaxing. Um, there are some points where I have them help me, like cutting cords. We release the energy to their highest destiny. Um, but I'm explaining what I'm doing the whole time, and then I'll go on the shamanic journey on their behalf while they're still resting. And then when I come back, I'm finishing up the illumination and anything else that's being requested at that time by their guides and the lineage of the shamans. Um, and then I'll tell them to start wiggling their fingers and their toes. And when they're ready to open up their eyes and sit up, and then I discuss whatever I found, as far as extractions and things like that, um, what came through in the soul retrieval.
Mm.
And then we do that second part of the exercise where they get to ask their soul piece, the treasure, and their para animal questions. And like I said, it's a very powerful experience. Some have even said it's been life-changing.
Wow. Why does during the soul retrieval, why do missing pieces of our souls go to the underworld? Why don't they rise like to an angelic place? Why does the soul choose to go there? Is it because it's wounded?
It's wounded. And different shamanic cultures believe different things. I'm just based on the traditions that I've learned, it always goes to the underworld. But there are some, I think Sandra Ingerman might be one of the ones that I've experienced that believes that they can go to different areas. And so sometimes you have to go search for it. It just depends on the beliefs and the cultures.
Yeah.
That
Do we all have missing pieces of our souls? Do all humans experience that? Because let's face it, we're all wounded in some way.
I believe that everyone has at least one missing soul piece.
That's concerning. And I guess by the underworld, that doesn't necessarily mean demonic, right?
Oh, no, not at all. It's just like a lower world. And certain things happen in the lower world, certain things happen in the upper world. And like I said, right now we're on the middle world.
Yeah.
So, the lower world's all about soul retrievals, and we'll often meet our para animals in the lower world. The upper world is more about destiny retrievals and figuring out what your destiny is and talking to your galactic parents and things like that. But day to day, we're living in the middle world.
Yeah. Can a power animal be a living animal, or is it more of a spirit guide?
Um, well, there's 3 different types of different animals. One is a totem animal like the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears pulls on the energetic spirit of the bear to try and win their games. Spirit animal is an animal in spirit. A power animal is one where we borrow the characteristics and they help us along the way. Now, a lot of indigenous cultures believe that we all have at least 9 different power animals throughout our life. A living animal isn't necessarily a power animal, but they do help us on our journeys. They are there to help heal us. They are there to help keep us grounded and keep us present.
Yeah.
When they pass, they often do become spirit guides for us. Um, but they'll also act as catalysts. I know one of my cats still helps me to this day and is um, helping me with my connection with the animals, being kind of like a laser focus for that energy to come down to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. When you do your readings, do you do them via video or does it have to be in person, whether it's with a pet or a human?
All my work is done remotely. So it's all done via video, um, at a distance. Um, and it works out just fine.
Mm. Excuse me. Do you ever tap into deceased animals as well? Into
Yes.
this? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
It's interesting. Because we're still so connected to our pets, even when they pass. Like every animal I've ever had, dogs especially that have, passed, I've always still felt a very strong connection to. It's so interesting. It's almost the same as when you lose a human, it's like the same kind of energy.
exactly. And animals don't fear death like humans do. To them,
Mm,
it's like taking off their fursuit, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm done with this body." It's like it's time for that to go, but they're still by your side. They're still helping you. Sometimes they're acting as a catalyst. Sometimes they're acting as a bridge. Sometimes they're still trying to heal your heart.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
they're just incredible, and um, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it doesn't matter what kind of animal, right? It could be any a fish, it could be a lizard, any type. Because a lot of people think, unfortunately, that pets don't have spirit or soul, and they absolutely do.
And they show emotions too.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like power animals, people think of power animals like bears and lions and jaguars, but it can be a bug. It can be ants. It can be
Be a butterfly, right?
anything.
Yeah.
And just because it's smaller and we don't think of it in the same light as like a dog or a cat or a lion, they're still just as powerful.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Um, I had about 3 experiences with butterflies that really have transformed me, like tiny little butterfly. And it's interesting. The first one was I was sitting in a backyard of a friend, and all of a sudden this monarch came out of nowhere and just landed on me, and it just stayed on me for probably 2 hours, and I wouldn't move. And like during that episode, I just felt so connected to this butterfly. And then it just, I think like we communicated. I was talking to it and everything. And then it just went on its journey after that. And I really believe that was some type of, intuitive connection that we had together.
And often animals like that give us messages. If it's something that, if you see an animal 3 different times, there's a message, because once or twice that's just coincidence. But three
Yeah.
times, that's a message. Or in an unusual situation. I
Yeah.
had a groundhog on my apartment patio the other day. I've had a snake show up, like a copperhead
Oh,
show up, or water moccasin show up on my welcome mat on my apartment complex. Luckily, it was when I was coming home, so I didn't let it in the apartment.
right.
But once you get the message, because those were definite messages for me, and once you get the message, then it goes away. I've gotten rid of ants in the kitchen that way. Once I got their message, the next day they were gone.
Jeez, that's so interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so they're there for some, when they interact with you, they're there for some reason, right? Like you said, not once or twice, but after, if it's repeated, there's sometimes. Yeah, it's so interesting that you said that because um I kept running into this mourning dove that was in the same spot on the same roof for weeks. And every time I walked by, it would sing its coo song. And one day I just stopped and I felt the soul connection to this bird.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with it. And I know that that means that the bird is looking for a mate when it coos like that. So I had this little cute conversation with it. And then after that, it just disappeared. So I guess you're spot on about that.
And also for those that aren't that connected with the animal world, look up the spiritual meaning of whatever animal it is that you keep seeing, because there is a message there for you. And
Yeah.
once you get the message, and just, there's a lot of definitions on the internet, just kind of go through and see what resonates to you, because that's your message.
Mm,
And once you get that message, that's your spirit guides using animals to talk to you and give you direction and give you um, next steps or whatever it is, or just trying to
yeah.
give you encouragement. To me, butterflies are all about transformation, because
Mm,
they go from an ooey gooey or a caterpillar to an ooey gooey mess and then turn into this beautiful butterfly.
yeah.
Goes through so much transformation in their lifetimes.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Um, I had this, I think it's called a Taylor's hawk. I was just looking for the picture and I kept asking the universe for a sign from my husband who passed away like 3.5 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we were married for 47 years, so it was such
Oh,
a, it is, yeah, it's a god awful journey, and I completely empathize, and as an empath, I can instantly experience what someone else is feeling. So I know grief, is so different for everyone, whether it's an animal or a human. So I kept asking, and I realized that in the asking itself, I was pushing it away, the experience. I kept, every day, because my husband, Joey, we would say things before, he passed. Whoever dies first, you have to make sure you give a sign. Like all couples do that, right? Most couples. And we always promised each other that we would do that. So after he passed, I kept, looking for this detailed sign, like something really deep and spiritual, and nothing, nothing, nothing. And I was getting so frustrated. And then one day I just decided to let it go, Julie. I said, I think I'm just
you're
pushing it
trying too
away.
hard. You're trying
Exactly.
too hard.
So I was walking my dog, Oliver, and I was just enjoying the trees and looking around at the sky. And all of a sudden I see this tremendous Taylor hawk, and we never get them here. Like I'm living in this particular house over 20 years. I've never seen one. Baby hawks, little hawks, yeah, but and it's peering down at me. And I looked up at it and I said, "Is that my sign, Joey?" And it just kept peering down at me, like right at me. And I took my camera out, I took a few pictures of it, and I just thanked the universe, and it just went and flew away. So to me, that was my sign.
Yes, most definitely. Um, Birds are often messengers from spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There, there's even some belief that when a hawk appears when somebody is dying, they're there to take the soul away
Oh, right.
and
Yeah.
help guide the soul to the afterlife.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the power in that. I mean, who knows? My Irish grandmother used to tell me all these tales growing up about banshees and all that stuff. So, I mean, I there could be truth, like with cardinals, right? They say when you see a cardinal, that's a sign from a deceased loved one. I mean, that's
Mhm.
pretty much a standard that everybody knows. And I think there's some truth in that. I'm always like, looking for signs, but I don't do it in such an aggressive way anymore. I do it in a more benign way. I don't try to force it.
Yeah.
I just let whatever comes, comes. Interestingly,
Mhm.
I've always adopted damaged pets, wounded pets. Like, I never went out and bought a dog. I always rescued. And I always felt that calling, like many of us, thank God. There are many of us that do that, whether it's a cat or whatever you want to rescue. And I had rescued this particular dog that I have now from a terrible, terrible situation. And now he's wonderful. He's happy. He's great. But I'm sensing like a soul scar from some of his behavior. And I can't quite connect with him on that level to know what it is. And it's driving me crazy because I wish that he would heal from it. I mean, the poor dog's got stomach problems, and things like that, but he has an emotional issue with certain things that trigger him and bother him. And I wish I could learn how to connect with him to help him heal. Is that something we could do, or is that something you would be able to do to help him with?
I've done that on many animals in the past. Um, I could do it. I'm getting ready to launch a course on animal chakras and how to heal those. But I work on the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual level. And so the chakras are just a minor part of it,
Mhm.
because I work with the meridians to release stuck emotions. I work on the physical level, looking at things like diet and if they've got parasites and give them like herbal remedies
Mm.
that serve a particular purpose in an animal. So it's a long, involved process. And sometimes, that's some of the healing techniques I learned from the animal communicators that I've
Yeah.
um, learned from. But then sometimes a shamanic piece comes in because I've cut cords on some of these animals. Sometimes there's a genetic component. There's something called a myism, where it is a ancestral energy that comes through, and it's either on the maternal line or the paternal line. And you know, we can. I've learned techniques to help mitigate those predispositions to rabies vaccine or skin conditions, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And also, I can cut the cords to that particular family line so that hopefully the animal never gets what they are predisposed to because of genetics.
Yeah. It's good. So it sounds like you do a very holistic approach when you're connecting with either humans or animals, right? So you're not just looking at one piece. You're
Oh,
looking at a very holistic. Yeah.
yeah. And there's a basic protocol I go through, but I've got so many other tools I can use. Once I go through the protocol with an animal, then I'll ask, are you feeling better? And they'll tell me yes or no. And then I'll say, okay, well, what else can I do for you? Do you need any additional healing? And they'll say yes. And I'll find out exactly what they need me to do. Uh,
Mm.
and then I'll do it. And
How do you connect with them telepathically? Do you actually hear their voice? Like what would be a voice? Or is it just energy that you're feeling and then you translate that into something? Like, how does that work?
Well, different people are going to connect differently. All of it is telepathic communication, but sometimes they'll send me images and sometimes I'll send them images. Sometimes I just know because I'm
Yeah.
very claircognizant. Um, Sometimes I will get, because what I can do is I can step into their energy and I can feel what they're feeling because I'm very clairsentient as well.
Mm, mm.
And so I can feel when they've got like an upset tummy. Oh, it feels very bloated and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, what have you been feeding them? Sometimes I'll get pains in my head when they are having some head issues. Um, so it just depends. It
Yeah.
just depends.
Yeah, yeah.
I've corrected behavior on an animal that broke through an electric fence one time
Ooh.
and ended up down on the street and almost caused an accident. And so his guardian was afraid she was going to have to give him up because if she couldn't keep him safe, she didn't want to risk him dying
Yeah.
or causing an accident and causing somebody else to die. And so I talked to him. I showed him pictures about, what could happen. He could have had this. Um, I showed him a picture of the cars wrecking. I showed a picture of him getting hurt. And then I showed a picture of him being taken away in a car and his mama crying.
Oh
I
boy.
said that, if you keep doing this, that's what's going to happen because she can't keep you safe. And so after that, he never broke through the electric fence
Oh,
again.
wow. That's wonderful to hear. That's nice. I like to hear stuff like that. What are some of the most common issues that you address? Like, is it anxiety, physical ailments, behavioral problems? Like, let's just say with animals. What's common with most animals? Is it anxiety? Are they anxious? Like,
A lot of times they're anxious. A lot of times, um, you know, cats peeing outside the litter box, um, dogs with anxiety or um, stomach issues. I'm getting a lot of stomach issues lately. Um,
yeah.
it, it just depends.
Yeah, it
A
just
lot of
depends
end
on
of
the
life decisions too. People wanting to know if it's time for their pet to cross over.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, so
and
people come to you for that as well?
yeah,
Yeah. That's
there's
a rough
one.
decision.
Yeah, and there's one time that I helped a friend of mine with her dog that the vets were saying put him down, put him down, and I said, well, he's not ready to go yet. And that
Mm.
dog was a fighter. This was a couple of years ago. That dog is alive to this day because
That's
she didn't listen to the vets. You know, she listened to what I was telling her, what her pet was trying to tell her, and
mhm.
and he survived. He made a full recovery, and the doctors couldn't believe it.
That's beautiful.
I've even shifted timelines before on a dog that had bone cancer. Uh,
Wow.
Using my shamanic techniques, I have the ability to look at the momentum tunnel and see the different timelines, and was able to shift it to a longer timeline to get her, because the dog was only expected to live at most 2 months with this bone cancer.
Jeez. Yeah.
He lasted 6 to 8 months. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't save him because, um, but I did give him and his guardian more quality time together.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
after that, she was able to cut his pain pills because it was affecting his kidneys, and also he didn't limp. So it's, this energy medicine stuff is so powerful.
Do you have
And
to be in a meditative state to do this? Do you have to meditate before? Like what's the prep work like for you when you know you have a client, coming to you, whether it's human or an animal? What's the prep work like? Can you go like right into it, or do you need to prepare?
it depends on what I'm doing. If it's shamanic work, I open up sacred space. I'll generally do a little meditation, um, sometimes with just the animal communication. I don't necessarily need to do a meditation. Um, it A lot of it depends on how I'm feeling at the time. If I'm
Yeah.
stressed out and anxious, then yes, I'll do a meditation to kind of help calm myself down, help get me back into my heart space and out of my head, um, so that I can communicate effectively with that animal.
Yeah. Did you study like pet behaviors, but to work with what you're doing as well? Like, or do you just make it purely shamanic? Like, did you actually take any courses or read up on like the way, say, dogs behave just in general so you could get a good idea?
Well, I've been around animals all my life. So just based on experience, I've also watched shows like The Dog Whisperer
Yeah, that's such a good show.
and you know uh, Jackson Galaxy with the
Mhm.
cats.
Oh,
Uh,
he's great. Sometimes he takes such a beating from those cats. I feel bad for him, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And horses too have their own personality
Yeah.
and things like that. So um,
Has this work that you've been doing your whole life driven you towards vegetarianism, or what's that been like for you?
I've gone. Um, I've been vegan. I Before I got into all this, I was eating meat. I still eat meat from time to time, but animals actually, that is one of their purposes, is to help support us.
Mm,
And, it's just a shame that they are so badly treated.
yeah.
I'm primarily only eat like salmon these days because for some reason my body is craving salmon.
Mm,
Um, but most of my diet is plant-based.
yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I,
I figured that would be the case.
yeah, I'll eat eggs sometimes too for some protein, but
Yeah.
most of my diet is plant-based.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I mean, I once read that people that choose to eat meat, as long as you say like well, there was this one gentleman gave an example, and he would say like grace and thanks to the animal before
Yeah.
he ingested it, and that kind of made the passing sacred. Like you said, they know that they're here to help support human life, and so I kind of understand that. Yeah. Is there a specific animal that you worked with? Um, and I know you mentioned a few of them, but has there been, success stories? Have there been others that are just not like, regardless of what you do, you just can't reach this one particular wounded animal? Or is it mostly success stories?
Mostly success stories, but like anyone else, it's not 100%,
Right.
because animals have free will too. And
Yeah.
so this one cat that's peeing outside the litter box, and I've tried working with it multiple times, and it just refuses. I think it wants to be rehomed because I don't think it's happy where it's at.
Oh,
And
that's a good
some
point.
and sometimes animals, well, sometimes when animals are crying out for help, they will misbehave. And because it's their only way to say, hey, look, something is wrong.
Mm.
It's like, notice me,
Like
something
a
is wrong.
child,
Right.
like a little kid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't understand them. Um, when they start misbehaving, a lot of times they will be punished. And without trying to truly understand, why are you doing this?
Yeah, that's not the way to go. Yeah.
But animals have free will just as we do. And sometimes, no matter how much I try and convince them, how much healing I do on them, they just won't do it.
Yeah. Do you believe that animals reincarnate into upper levels like humans when they come back, or is your soul spirit like always trapped in that reincarnation cycle of being an animal? Like, how do you think that works under shamanic practices?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with shamanism, but I've had a dog come back as a horse because he saw the film or the show Mr. Ed with the
Oh,
talking horse and would sing to me that song. And his friend came back as a dog again, but they were still buddies. And so he got very upset and sad when his friend died because horses live so much longer than
yeah,
dogs.
yeah.
And but he said, "Oh, that looks so cool. I want to come back as a horse next time."
So,
Now I
so
don't
pets can choose. You think pets can choose like how they reincarnate?
I don't know for sure, but I think they can, especially with that dog turning into a horse. Um, I think as well. For instance, I was talking to a cat one time, and somehow it came up about um, that all cats start off as strays
Mm,
because they have lessons to learn as a stray, and as they learn their lessons, they reincarnate into a better lifestyle, into a more loving home, or um, it's kind of like an evolution where they
yeah,
start off as a wildcat, then they start off as a stray, you
yeah,
know, and
and then
then they
evolve from there.
and then they evolve.
Yeah,
Um, so, but whether they can evolve into a human, I have no clue. I'm assuming since anything is possible in this universe, that if they wanted to, I'm sure they could.
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I believe I was a tree in a past life, so who knows what else I've been.
Yeah, trees have living energy. So maybe they have souls. I mean, it's already studied that plants have spirit in energy. They emit,
Yes.
this energy. So, and we eat plants, right? So I mean, I talk to my house plants almost every day, and I have a relationship with them. And when one of them is dying and not doing well, I take it very personally. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
And out in nature, all the other plants, because they're connected by a root system,
right.
like especially like in the desert with the cactus, their roots are all interconnected. So if one isn't getting water, but another one is, it will send the water to the other cactuses to help them survive.
Wow,
It's just
amazing.
amazing how nature is so resilient and how it
Yeah,
um, helps support itself and help
yeah,
support too.
yeah. My best friend's dog passed a few months ago, and her
Well,
mother had passed a year before that, and she wanted to know if her dog is with her mother together. Like, are they spirits united in the afterlife together? Because the mother loved the dog so much, the dog loved the mother so much, and she wanted to know, like, are the two together now, or do they have their own journeys? They go on their own soul journeys.
it depends, but I'm seeing a woman with a dog by her side.
Mm.
So I think they are connected.
Oh,
They're showing me like two hearts being as one, so there is a soul connection there.
oh, wonderful. I'll have to tell her that. She'll be thrilled because she had a strange incident happen where um she was she had her cell phone next to her and she has thousands of pictures on her phone. And right after Missy, that's the dog's name, passed away, this picture of Missy and the mother just appeared out of nowhere, like just poof. It came up on the screen. So she wanted to like know if the two of them were together, and that's good. I'll have to definitely let her know that they're together.
Yeah.
Nice.
And back to that butterfly.
Yeah.
I think that was also a message from your husband.
Yeah. It could have been. It could have been.
He's saying orange butterflies.
Oh, really? Could be. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I try not to look everywhere for a sign, like I said to you before. And like you mentioned, some things are just coincidence. But like when I saw that hawk, I just when you just get that intuition and you just know,
Yeah.
like I just knew at that moment. But yeah, I mean, why not a tiny little creature like an ant or a butterfly? And a lot of people just kill bugs without thinking about that they're taking a life. I mean, look, I'm no fan of bugs, and if one is in my space and it's like not supposed to be there, I've killed them in the past, but I've always felt bad about doing that. So I try to catch them and release them like a fly or something like that.
Yeah, me
I know
too.
Buddhists do that too, right?
Yeah.
Don't they sweep before they walk in case there's like bugs? And I saw a video of that there was this Buddhist monk that wherever he walked, he would take a little broom with him and sweep so as not to step on ants or anything like that, so as not to kill them. I mean, that's extreme, but
I just step over them. So,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I've saved crickets. I've saved moths that have come into my apartment. I've saved beetles. Um,
Oh, I'll bet. What animals do you soul bond with? You have a cat, I heard you mention. Is it just one cat at home or?
well, right now I just have one cat. My soul cat died. Oh gosh, probably 6 months ago or something.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And she was a reincarnation of another cat I had owned.
Mhm.
And
Will that happen? Will they come back to you reincarnated in the form of a different pet? Because I've often wondered that. Like,
they often do.
mm,
It just depends on your soul contracts. If you've made an agreement to share another life together, most of the time, these animals travel with us and
yeah.
will come back in different forms, sometimes exhibiting the same behavior as the other one did. Just, um, I've had them say, "Don't you recognize me, Mom?"
Oh, that's funny.
Uh,
Cute.
but Rosie is still with me. She's part
Yeah.
of my team. She helps me connect. Um, this other cat I have, will help me as well, but it's not as engaged as my other one was.
Yeah. It's so interesting how just like humans, each one of them have such different personalities and there's different connections. Like even when you have children, you love them all, but you can connect with one in a very different way than the other one. I mean, it just is a fact of life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've been struggling with, and I'm sure many of us listening have, are in the same situation where they have a pet that has an issue, a problem, whatever it is. Some are afraid of fireworks. I mean, I know some dogs that, you know, get really sick around the 4th of July, trembling and whatnot. And, you know, we want to help our pets. We want to be able to connect, to do something to help them. Is there a simple practice for folks that we could do to connect with our beloved pets to try and appease and calm their worries and anxieties?
Well, often those are due to a past life connection. It's
Mm,
PTSD.
yeah.
Often these dogs that are afraid of fireworks were war dogs at one point.
Mm,
And so something triggers them. And so they end up having these memories of a previous life. Um, there's several things you can do for a dog that um, is reactive like that. If you don't want to do the energy healing, there's something called Bach Rescue Remedy for Pets. It is an all natural supplement. It comes in a liquid and you put it in their food, not their water. Water will dilute it out too much.
mm-hmm,
And it just helps give them a calming effect.
mm-hmm.
With cats, you can use the pheromones too. Um, that has a calming effect on them.
Yeah.
Um, you can also play dog or cat calming music that's free on YouTube. And
Oh,
just
they
help,
have specific music for animals. Oh, I never thought to look that
yeah.
up.
And it's very calming to them. Animals relate to music just like humans do.
Oh,
In
my dog
fact,
loves when I sing to him. Yeah.
yeah. And, you know, this just kind of relaxes them, puts my cat to sleep.
Mm.
And then somebody mentioned something the other day, and I thought that is such a wonderful idea. Maybe not so for the humans, but get like a pair of sneakers and some tennis balls and put them in the dryer. And all the da 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 that noise
Oh, yeah, yeah.
drowns out the fireworks and the sounds of the thunder that so many dogs are afraid of.
Yeah.
Plus their hearing is so much better than ours. So when they hear
Oh,
the
yeah.
fireworks, the thunder, it's boom, 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 boom. But I thought that was such a great trick because that is very steady,
Yeah, it's like a
repetitive.
metronome in a way, that repetitive.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. So, I thought that was a great trick. The other thing is, if you are expecting fireworks or something, make sure that you wear your dog out. Play,
yeah.
do
Nice and
stuff like
tired.
that so that they're nice and tired.
Yeah,
Um, because animals a lot of times will misbehave because they have excess energy. They aren't getting exercised enough. And sometimes, you know, you have a husky that go, 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 or a puppy that's just go, 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 and they'll misbehave. If you drain that energy, and sometimes the
yeah,
mental games are more draining on them than the physical activity. So teach them a new trick or um, hide treats and make them sniff around and find them. That releases a lot more energy than physical activity does.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's such a good idea. For Oliver, he does a few things that are problematic. Not anything serious, but one of them is he's very aggressive towards dogs when I'm walking him. So, like if he sees, and not all dogs, just certain dogs, and he'll go bananas, like absolutely bananas, barking and pulling and tugging to get to this other pet that's walking across the street. And I could never figure out like why some animals and not all of them. Just certain dogs are like triggers for them. Is that a trauma-based response? Like, does that come from trauma?
It often does.
Mm.
I've had dogs that were really reactive to other dogs because in a previous life they were part of a dog fighting ring or
Oh,
part of a puppy mill where
yes.
they had to fight for their food, and they became aggressive trying to survive.
Yeah. I never thought about that. Oh my goodness. So a lot of this stuff is trauma related that our pets, whether it's cats, dogs, could be any of them, right?
Pretty much. Especially like if you have a animal that only likes women and doesn't like men,
Yeah,
chances
I've
are
seen that.
probably abused by a man. And
Yeah,
that
that
man reminds them of the person that abused them. So yeah,
yeah,
they're going to be scared. They're going to not want to bond with that person.
yeah. Have you ever had to remove make a suggestion to have someone give up their pet that maybe this pet just does not want to live with that person? Has that ever come across your space like where you had to tell somebody that?
Um, Unfortunately, yes.
No. Yeah, that's got to be tough to have to relate that message to somebody. Like, I mean, that
Yeah,
would break my heart. Yeah, yeah.
it, it's tough too trying to tell somebody who's trying to find their lost pet that their lost pet is no longer living.
Oh, oh. So
And
you pick up on that too? That energy? Oh,
sometimes,
that's
yeah,
tough. Yeah, that. Oh,
I hate doing lost animal cases, but
yeah,
when they come to me, it's like, okay, I'll try. But, you know, it often is not a good outcome. And it's very hard for me because I often feel how they died,
yeah.
and trying to relay that um, to their owners is
Oh,
tough.
that's got to be heartbreaking. So whether they got hit by a car or something, maybe another animal attacked them, like a kid, not a good outcome, right?
No.
So, do you work with humans more than pets, or is it pretty much an equal balance?
Hmm. Well, since all the humans come with pets, probably kind of an equal balance.
Yeah,
Uh, Maybe a little bit more animals than humans at this point.
yeah. Have you worked on both, like the owner and the human together?
Um, that's a trick question. Um, yes and no. Sometimes the healing I do on their animals helps them as well.
Mm,
Whenever the animal's root chakra is out of alignment, because animals are mirrors. And so if we are undergoing a lot of additional stress, if there's been a lot of changes in our lives, it's going to affect our pets, and it will
right.
knock their root chakra out of alignment. So they are more in survival mode, more at like, am I going to get my basic needs met? Their security and safety is questionable at that point. And so it's like, what's going on? And
Yeah, yeah.
um, I've giving the owner some like breathing techniques, some shamanic breathing techniques to help reduce that fight or flight. Um, because, animals are mirrors. And so you've seen the videos of if somebody hurts their leg, then the dog or the cat will start limping too.
I've seen those. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you think that they're just imitating, but I actually think they're empathizing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Do you think that this is becoming more mainstream and accepted, like the psychic connection with animals and the healing of them? Is it becoming more widely accepted now? Have you noticed?
In some areas, yes. There are a lot more animal communicators out there than when I started. Um, I was living in the Bible Belt for a number of years, and you know, whenever I said I was an animal communicator, people would look at me like I've got two heads.
Yeah.
Some still
Right.
do, but
Yeah.
such is life.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think it's being more widely accepted. Um, I think more people are awakening to their gifts, and so they're realizing there really is something to it. Um, you're going to get skeptics everywhere, but I do think that it is being more commonly recognized as um, a skill that can be learned, that be you can be born with. Because I do believe everyone can communicate with animals. It is our birthright,
Yeah.
and
Well,
most of us.
it's so interesting because you've got, Dr. Doolittle, right, which has been around for decades. Ooh, you
Sorry.
okay there? That's all right.
Yeah.
Dr. Doolittle that talks to the animals has been around for decades, right? The movie, the cartoons, whatever. And that's kind of based in truth, really. And I think that some people like yourself just train and practice to sharpen that skill more than others do. I mean, there are times when like I'll be sitting here in my office and Oliver is on his bed and I'll just think like, Oliver, come here. Like, come over, come to mommy, Oliver. And out of nowhere, he'll just get up and come.
Yep.
So is that like a good example of how, we can communicate with our pets by just thinking and feeling that?
Yeah. Now, when I talk to animals, a lot of times they don't want to talk about like the mundane stuff. What color's your bowl? Where do you
Right.
sleep at night? They're just like, what are you wasting my time like that for? And a lot of times, because humans talk so much, it's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you send them a message, hey, Oliver, can you come here? Or often they will, because they understand more than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
And
I think that's
so,
true.
um, you know, my cat Xena always tells me when it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Most animals do.
Yeah.
Uh, and, they don't wear watches.
Right. They just have this like circadian rhythm that they go off of. And does your cat tell you telepathically, or is it body movements? Like typically, how do you get the message?
Well, if I'm not listening to her telepathically, then she'll come and sit right in front of me and just kind of.
Give you that look? Yeah. Yeah. Animals are smart like that. They know what they want and they know how to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are you working? You said you were taking some courses or you wanted to take some courses. What do you like what's up for you next? How do you see yourself growing even more into this field?
I'm taking some courses in medical mediumship.
Medical mediumship. Okay. And what does
And
that entail?
being able to, because right now I step into a person's energy, I can feel what they're feeling. But this takes it deeper. I'm not stepping into their field anymore, but I'm going through all the different body systems and seeing what highlights up to me. Um, I'm seeing if it's caused by an old belief and
Mm-hmm.
able to clear that belief. Um, so this course I'm taking right now is going very deep. And I mean, we've only had our second lesson, and already we're clearing beliefs. So yeah, it's very powerful. I can see where it's going to help me with my shamanism as well as the animals. So healing both people and animals. And I'm also taking more courses in shamanism.
Yeah, because I would imagine that would be like a lifelong commitment, really, to do. Like you'd constantly need that type of training for growth, right?
Yeah, for growth and to learn new skills, because different teachers, like Sandra Ingerman has her tools that she uses. Alberto Villoldo has his tools that he uses. Joan Wilcox has her tools that she uses.
Mm-hmm.
So all the different teachers I've learned something from. And
Yeah.
so now I'm using these techniques as I'm called to, no matter whether they come from Peru or the Quero or Sandra Ingerman. Um, I'm learning how to tune energy. I'm I'm pulling in creative forces, um, and sending in healing energy. It's just mind blowing, all the stuff you can do with energy
Mm.
and all the healing that can occur when you're dealing with the energy and can manipulate the energy and restructure it and tune it. It's just amazing the results it has.
Yeah, that's great. Now, how do folks make an appointment with you? Do they go to your website? Do they message you on Facebook? Like, what's your preferred methodology for booking appointments?
All of the above. I
Yeah.
do have two different websites. Um, JulieJeanneBassett.com is for my animal communication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, WhitetailShamanichealing.com is for my shamanic healing type services, but I do also have animal communication on there, and some other things like dream interpretation, because there's some shamanic tools I use to help with dream interpretation.
Oh,
And
so I didn't know you delved into that. So you help humans with dream interpretation?
yeah, because everyone has their own set of symbols, so I help you interpret your own dream using these shamanic tools.
I really like that.
And then I do like past life readings where, because with I look at what past lives are affecting the person now. So I pull 3 past lives. I have these 2 different card decks that I use and I'll pull 3 past lives. I'll get supplemental information using 3 additional cards from a different deck.
Mhm.
I'll take each set into meditation. And so a past life comes up, and there's, you know, sometimes it's dealing with financial loss or
Yeah.
issues with love. And
Yeah.
so we cut the cords to those past lives so the person can move forward, because if they don't cut those cords, then chances are they're going to be repeating those same patterns until they make some changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm adding services like that all the time. I've got some classes coming up. Um, a beginner's animal communication workshop is coming up,
Yeah. That
uh,
sounds really interesting for folks to take.
September 20th and 21st from noon until 3 Eastern time. Um, So
And you do that via Zoom, something like that?
yeah, it's all on Zoom. And what's fun about it is I send out an email about a week before the class, and people can submit their own animals to have read
Oh,
by
nice.
the class. And because sometimes it's harder to read your own animals because your energies are so intertwined
Yes,
that it's
absolutely.
something like, oh, is that me or is that my dog? Like, and so there's doubt there. So this helps them to get rid of some of the doubt, start trusting what they're getting when they have other animals to work on as well as their own. And so, I just basically do a brain dump of everything I've learned about animal communication. We go through an attunement, we go through I help them find a power animal. So we'll do a meditation to get to a power animal. I talk about some beginner tools they can use, like a pendulum. Uh,
Yeah.
I talk about the 6 steps to um, doing an animal communication. And what I do too is we also talk to both living and deceased pets so they can see the difference.
Nice.
So when they're done with the course, people can talk to both living and deceased animals so they can be an animal communicator or a pet medium.
Wonderful. Yeah, I want to book an appointment with you myself because, as I mentioned, I'm having a few concerns about Oliver, and I would really like to find out what it is that's still keeping him stuck in these few particular behaviors that he's doing. So I'll be reaching out to you for that because I really would like to get to the bottom of it. I feel so bad for him.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Julie. This was so much fun and so informative. And of course, I'll put all the links to where folks can reach you in the description of the video, and it'll be all over YouTube, everywhere, like I mentioned before. So folks can, if you want to reach out to Julie for yourself or your pets, regardless of what your pet is, definitely head over to her website and I'll make sure I have those links in there for you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Julie.
This has been so much fun.
Oh, thank you. Yes, same here. God bless you for the work you're doing. I think it's wonderful. Somebody's got to help our pets and teach us how to help our pets. That's the key, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll be in touch, Julie. Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye. Same to
Bye bye.
you.
Thank you. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to listen. And as you heard earlier, you're listening to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, which is 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And each week, our listeners will have the opportunity to listen to various topics from everything from ranging from ancient history to ufology, paranormal, extraterrestrial, you name it. We've got it on this network. And thank you, Julie, so much for sharing your incredible insights with us today. It's been a very enlightening conversation. We all love our furry friends and we all want to, and not so furry friends, and we all want to make sure that we're doing the best to make them live a happy life. To our audience, thank you so much. We hope that this interview has given you new perspectives on this profound and spiritual connection that you share with your pets. And whether you're a seasoned animal lover or a new pet owner, the idea of our companions having rich, energetic lives is a very powerful one. And we encourage you to observe your own pet in the same light and awareness and explore ways that you can deepen your spiritual bond with them. Um, we're also blessed to be able to have the love and guidance of our spirit guides animals. So thank you all so much. I will see you next Thursday. Take care, folks. Bye bye.